Hi, I'm Adam Rombel, editor-in-chief of the Central New York Business Journal, with some additional thoughts on this week's decision by the Standard & Poor's ratings agency to revise downward to negative its outlook for U.S. sovereign debt. Now, though Standard & Poor's did keep our debt rated at AAA, it also said that it expects that there's a 1 out of 3 chance that in the future we would lose that rating on U.S. debt. Now, the AAA rating has been a vaunted rating, basically saying that U.S. debt is the best in the world, and now this is in question because of the large debt problems that we have now, over $14 trillion in national debt. Now, it's no surprise. Everyone knows that the United States has a debt and deficit problem. You see the headlines all the time, especially since the 2008 financial crisis where our debt soared and our deficit soared $1.4 to $1.6 trillion in 1 year alone. So we're not surprised. Standard & Poor's is kind of telling us what we all know. But what now has happened is the threat of future downgrades really hits home, really sends a shot across the bow to our politicians in Washington, D.C., that they've got to do something about this. Because if they don't, it's going to really hurt us in the future in terms of raising the borrowing costs for the United States, and also raising the borrowing costs for anybody who issues bonds. Corporations, local and state governments, too, are threatened by this. So the U.S. better take this seriously, and I would not listen to those that have tried to poo-poo this week. We've heard critics say, well, S&P was just making a political decision. We'll get this right. When has Washington gotten anything right recently? When have the projections for the debt or deficit been lower than they're supposed to be? No, it always comes out being more expensive, and the debt always comes out being higher than what was first forecast. So trust but verify. Until you actually see the politicians come to an agreement to do something about this burgeoning problem, I wouldn't believe it. And I would believe the warning, and I would heed the warning that Standard & Poor's gave us this week. And let's hope the politicians do so as well.